and welcome back to Sticks and Strings. I'm Naomi.
I'm Beth.
I'm Eve.
Every week I ask her, "Are you ready?" She's like, "Yeah," and then she's like, "Wait." Anyway, welcome back. It is June. Happy
You guys
June.
had a nice Memorial Day.
Yeah. I did a whole lot of nothing, which was great. And my daughter, actually, that's not true. I didn't do nothing. I cleaned my daughter's room all day, and then I was interrupted because simultaneously Mark was cleaning his our closet. Anyway, that's a story for stories, but I had a lot to do on Memorial Day.
Well, and Hannah came home.
And Hannah came home. Yeah, my daughter's home. My daughter's
I get to see her tonight.
Yeah. Hey now, my daughter's home.
Well, I'm going to go first.
Okay.
And
You have a pencil before you start. Does anyone have a pencil? May I borrow one of these pencils?
Yeah, color pencil, but
I just want a dark pencil.
yeah.
So I spent part of this week finishing up my berries. Now, a couple of them, I'm like, I might need to take that apart and add more stuffing. but they're all done.
They're all buried.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the nativity berry with the little star that I made.
I'm borrowing your pen instead. No.
I'm going to just, oops.
Uh-oh.
Buried down.
And here's the sewing bee berry.
Oh my God.
Throwing berries everywhere.
Okay, here's this one. Oh my gosh. I don't want to stay.
Wait, I weighted it so that the front stays.
Oh, I see. And here's this one.
And here's the sheep.
Oh, it's so cute.
And here's the cardinal with the little snowflake I made. I didn't make the snowflake. I made the pin.
Cute.
And the winter burr one.
So now it looks like summer and now it looks like winter. Cool.
Oh, I didn't have any room, so it needed to be somewhere. And before I talk about my other projects, I'm going to go ahead and show you how this is all mostly one color.
Oh, wow.
However, it cooled off right from Memorial Day, the day after.
Cool is a relative term.
It's below 90. I mean, below 100. Below 95.
Wow. Yeah, no, it
Except
felt,
today.
It felt so nice. Today's warm, but it felt so nice.
Mm-hmm.
For a split second.
The first couple of days of June are also this cooler temperature. So we'll take the cool air while we can. So
Ish. Cooler. But in the evenings, it's been beautiful.
it's all relative.
You could make it would really, really giant, but it'd be kind of interesting to have a high and low. Like if you had the high of the day and the low of the day.
Some people do that.
Really?
Yeah. But I'm too lazy for that. I can barely do this one. You'd think that because it's very small, it wouldn't take you very long.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time you make sure you have all the right temperatures and pick the right threads back out to get, it's not like you just pick it back up.
And you have to be so disciplined to keep up with it.
Yeah.
You could do, because that's chevrons, couldn't you do half in the high and the other half in the low, like that?
I could, but I'm not going to.
No, I know, but I'm saying that would be kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting, like, especially in the springtime, like I always joke, like from 8 to 10 it's winter, from 10 to 12 it's spring, from 12 to 2 it's summer, or 12 to 4 or so, and then from 5 to 10 o'clock at night it's back to fall or something. Like you get on these in Arizona, you get like this huge fluctuation of temperature.
I think that's why a lot of visitors get into trouble here when they come, like in May and June, because Phoenix has, if you like outdoor activities, Phoenix has it. including hiking. And people think that because it's very cool sometimes in the morning, when they set out for a hike, they don't take enough water. And by the time they're up, far up, the sun has come out, and really out, and they start dropping, from heat exhaustion. And every summer, they have to run up there and get people.
I remember one time Greg and I met in Albuquerque. It's the same kind of problem, but not quite as extreme this year. But we met one evening, and it was in I don't know, June or something, and it was nice and warm in the evening, and we ended up hanging out till I don't know what, midnight or after midnight or whatever, because every place around us was closing. But so then we stood by the car and talked, and by the time we left, it was like I was shivering.
Yeah.
Because
of the desert, the temperatures just drop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so for WIP-GO for May, my second project was Underwater World, 10 days. And this is how far I got in that amount of time. Actually, probably spent more than 10 days on it, but I wanted to get further.
It's cute.
But I think
That's going to be really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And I had the foresight because none of these colors are the ones that are listed in
That are called for.
Called for. And what I have to do is go back into the called for threads and put the threads that I've chosen, because when I pick this up again next, it might be a year from now. I won't remember those colors.
Yeah.
And so I wrote, this color is to that. Yeah. And because, when I finish making this octopus, I would like the rest of it to be the same color. And so I'm going to fix it in my, in the thread stash, so that if I'm looking for that color, I'll go, oh yeah, that's in that project, which I end up having to do a lot. Well, right now it wouldn't tell me that it's in that project. So. Sorry, I have a very bad headache all of a sudden. I'm trying to think of what I was doing. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out which way is right side up. So my cross stitch camp piece is, by the way, that Underwater World is Stitchy Princess. And the Temperature SAL Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts. This
I was like, did you just switch off for a second?
Powering down.
So this is called Robin, and it's by Maria Bravko. Her company is Cute Patterns by Maria. And by the way, she just put out another one. I'm like, oh my God, I might need to have that one.
Oh no.
I have a free pattern of hers that I forgot, and it's called Corgi Snowflake, or Snowflake Corgi. And it's a fat, cute little corgi with, I think he's got a scarf on, and his little snowflakes are coming down. I'm like, and it was a free pattern. I downloaded it and promptly forgot all about it. But anyway.
So cute. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That little hat.
Adorable.
Now, this hat and scarf, there's, I think, 5 or 6 colors of red in that. Okay. And so it doesn't look like I've gotten very far.
Can I see that? Can I see the photograph?
But this is how far I've gotten.
Oh, it's like a little Fair Isle pattern with little hearts and stuff. That's so cute.
Yeah, the back stitching is going to be a bear.
No, it's a bird.
So I think this is right side up.
She put a pin in it, so you know.
I'm pretty sure.
That's all. I have to put my
Orientation
hoop
pin.
up here, the little things up here, so I can.
Yeah, you know, once I get more colors in there, it'll be easier. But yeah, and
Cross stitch. So that's just for June. Cross stitch camp, June, or the whole summer.
just June. It has so many colors in it that even though it's a very small pattern, I mean, look at the size of the cloth, right? Even though it's a very small pattern, I don't think I'll be getting it finished because, you know, it's confetti everywhere. And then the back stitching. When I did oil in a light bulb 2 years ago, I finished that.
Is that for camp?
Yeah. I finished that in 1 month. But I remember I didn't do anything else. And I wasn't doing WIP-GO at that time. So I don't know. I really want to have it done though.
It's so adorable.
So when I bought this, I made sure I had all the threads. I bought all the threads that I didn't have, right? But can I find them all? No. And Thread Stash, if I had it for another project, right? Thread Stash, if I say it's completed, they take it off.
Oh no.
So that, you know, I try to put all the threads back where they should be, but you know, things happen. And I'm just going, where's that thread? So that's why, you know, okay, I'm going to switch and do this color because I know where that one is. And it's got a lot of colors in it. And I tried to make sure I had them all before June 1st. Had them all together. I have no idea. I have no idea where they are. Now, my WIP-GO calls for June. One of them is Snowman Wizards, and this is by Cross Stitching for Fun.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
And
Which one are you doing?
This is a free pattern on their Facebook group.
You've done Slytherin
and Gryffindor. So I have Mary Gryffindor done, and I have Mary Slytherin done. And so now I'm going to be working on Mary Ravenclaw.
Cute.
Look at Mary Hufflepuff holding a little branch.
Oh, that's cute.
And Ravenclaw's holding a little bird. Anyway, but I'm going to work on that one later in the month. My other call is Art Deco Summer. And again, this is by Cross Stitching for Fun. The amount of threads in this is no joke. Can you see all the threads in here? and more threads, and there's more threads in there. And all 4 of the seasons are like that. They use a lot of the same colors.
It's
so
pretty though.
Oh, I fell in love with this one first. This is why I bought all the 4 seasons.
I can't believe you fell in love with that with all the bugs in it. Well, it's just dragonflies.
Dragonflies and butterflies.
You don't consider butterflies bugs, do you? Or are they buggish to you?
I like looking at them from over there. Actually, I've been in the what is that called next to the place that had the dolphins that
The butterfly
died?
experience, or
The butterfly, yeah.
Yeah, and I've been in there where the butterflies are all flying around you and all that, and I love it.
Yeah.
I have tons of pictures of butterflies on people that were with me, just chilling on the ground. As a matter of fact, they tell you when you walk in there, be careful, there's butterflies on the ground.
Yeah.
And they don't want any strollers or anything because you might roll over one. Yeah, it's
So that doesn't bother you?
No.
That's good.
Well, if one landed on me, I would make sure I shook it off. But I like butterflies well enough. Anyway, the two dragonflies are in the middle. I did a middle start, and they're not actually close together, and so it's kind of looks like I have it lopsided, but and I know this is right side up on this one because just a little antennae. And I have used, in this little amount of space, I've used 1, 2, 3, 4,
Wow.
5 colors.
Wow.
And again, there's one here. The only place that says that is the only place that it says that it's needed is in this project and the spring one. It's not there. So it must have been needed in something else, and I don't know. I don't know where it is. I have no idea. If push comes to shove, I'll just buy it again. But that is what I'll be working on now, even though it kind of scares me because of the confetti nature of it. So, and then somebody wanted to order something from us this past week, but she wanted to see if we could substitute a pink bead for a white bead that was in there. And I was accommodating, but I didn't have any pink beads that I wanted to use, so I went to go buy beads, and I found, you can't see them from there, but I'll take a picture, these cute butterfly beads.
Oh, yeah.
They're very clear and very pink. Very light pink. I asked her, do you want more of a rose quartz pink or do you want a hot pink? And she's like, no, lighter pink. And there's pink nuggets in this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But I knew I didn't have any charms to go with this if she didn't want these.
Mm-hmm.
And so during stories, I'll tell you about what happened. And then I saw that they had the lemon slice and the butterflies, and I got more because to do the 2 that I did, I used up a lot more butterflies than I did
Lemon slices.
lemon slices. So when I was looking for, I was looking to see if I could find something to make with these or the butterfly beads, because I have more butterfly beads than I needed for that project. I said, oh, I have these.
Oh, little fruits.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that I guess I bought with these the first time I bought them. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I got to do something with
Summer
that.
fruits.
Mm-hmm.
That's fun.
Yeah, so anyway, that's me.
Do you want me to go next?
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on 1 second. I'll move this over here so I can
Well, you ask
Very
if you're
short.
not ready.
short thread.
It's just to put a thread.
Okay, so I got a whole mess of junk here. So, last time I was winding up my version of Mania, my modified Mania, and I don't know, I don't remember if I showed this, but because on the weekend, on like Friday and Saturday, I was doing, because I did, again, I did 11, and then I did them backwards to make 22, and then I did another start for 23. 22 starts. It was 22 starts plus 1. Anyway, I mean,
It was 11 starts.
yeah, 11 starts plus 1.
That would be 12 starts.
Yeah, but yeah. But anyway, it was
Human calculator over there.
Yeah, I did 23 things, for 2023. So anyway, so I was over the weekend. I was doing on Friday and Saturday these Mouse's Lucky Day and Mouse's Beach Outing by Tiny Modernist, and I don't remember. I was working on this one, I think. So, because I got her the little mouse's hat done, partly done, all the green, all the dark green, and the checkerboard of her dress. And then I did the second day on Mouse's Beach Outing, and so I did more of this little beach hut thing, and the blue of the dress that she's wearing. So I did that, and then I did, going backwards, I have these in the wrong order, this Dimensions Kit Mama Cat. And the first time I worked on it, I had just the little gray color of her chin. And this time, and you can see how stiff this Ada is. Ugh, it's hard to, I can't even bend it. But so I did a little bit more of this gray stuff, but I did a little white on her chin and the red of the nose, and then this red is the little scarf thing the cat's wearing on her head. So there's the second day of Mama Cat. And then I took this off the hoop so it wouldn't, because I don't know when I'm going to get back to it. I didn't want it to be all bent from the hoop. And then I did Wandering Sheep. This is by Heartstrings, no, the other one. Lindy Stitches. And this is fun because it's all done, almost all of the threads in it are from Threadworks, which is a different, it's a fancy floss that I hadn't used before. But so I did more of the sheep going around here. I finished his front legs. It looks like a pig, but it's really a sheep. Just because it has longer legs down here, you just can't see them. And then I came up the front of the sheep, and then I did my initials back here on the rump. They're a little gray, you can't really see them, but they're there. And so when I eventually, there's some like little flowers around the letters here that are just individual colors, so I have to do those individually. But then the rest of the sheep, apart from the face, and the rest of the sheep is just filling in, and then the feet and everything else. And
did you dye that fabric yourself?
Yes, I did. I dyed the fabric myself.
It's pretty.
It's just a pink and purple. I mean purple and green, and
it's nice.
I think there's a little bit of yellow in there. And then Sweet Wing Studio Deep Waters. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you is the quote on here. And I did a little bit more of this. I dyed this fabric as well. Blue and yellow and green. But so I finished the part of the quote here. I will be with you is the last half of the quote. And then I started on, I just have one little line of the whale that goes up here. So that's the second day of that one. And I really like that. I'd like to It has this little octopus and a crab and all that stuff. It's very cute. And then for my number 23 was this Nuit de Noël. I wasn't sure I was going to do this, but I went ahead and chose this for my number 23. This is by Collection Tralala. The only problem with it is it's all in French. So all the instructions and all the whatever, like, it's all in French. Like it says, "Ce modèle is brodé sur." So my
don't speak
bad
a
French
language you don't know.
But so it tells you like, oh, the model is done on 16 count Zweigart, blah blah blah. But so I had to like slowly. Fortunately, a lot of it is translatable because it's it's talking about Zweigart, it's talking about whatever. But fortunately, it has the the general arts colors in English. So and there's a few DMC colors. But anyway, so since I just had one day of starting on it, and I did a center start, so I have a couple of lines of this Santa Claus's robe. So there's some red right there. So that is my Mania. So that was done. And then my May WIP-GO things were the Nativity Berry. I think I don't think I had quite finished it when I showed it, but I did all the swirlies and stuff inside the stable, so I don't remember if I showed that or not. But anyway, it's hardly different from what I showed before. And I had already done the Kind and Gentle Woodland Sampler by Artful Offerings. I had already done that. So all I had left to do for May for my WIP-GO was the FFOing. And last week I showed the little card with the ice skating penguin on it. So I had my Blackwork Angels to do, and I showed you. I think last week I showed them. They were partly done. I did the front and the back, but I hadn't glued it all together yet. And one reason was that I wanted to use some ribbon to make the little hanger loops on it, because these are all going to be done as ornaments. And I could have sworn that I had some black ribbon of some sort that I had, and later on I realized it was the cording that I had. So I had some black cording. But I'm glad I didn't decide to use it, because I think I would have run out. Because I bought this little spool of ribbon at Hobby Lobby, and this is like a velveteen ribbon, and this I used all but this much. So yeah. And so I had the, sorry, I'm gonna lose that. Hang on one second. So this is the original pattern, Prairie Schooler pattern for the Blackwork Angels. And this is the little card. I didn't realize I had this handy. So this is a card set, compliments of the Prairie Schooler, these little card sets. And this one has a bunch of, I think they're all like Christmas theme things. But this is another little version of the Blackwork Angels. It's just slightly smaller than the patterns for these. So this is that one from the little card. And so I finished them back and front, and it has the cording. And then I did these little loops to hang them from. So there's this one. And then the other 8, some of them are horizontal hanging like this, like these 2. So like I said, they have these loops to hang them from the Christmas tree. And then the others are vertical, like this.
Nice.
So I finished them all. So they all have this little cording and the little velveteen loops.
Nice.
So they came out very nicely. I was very happy with them.
I told Beth that I thought we should buy a small artificial tree that we can hang
Like a
things like that
tabletop.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be nice.
Yeah. So that is, so my May WIP-GO stuff is all done. Put this over there, please. I don't want to knock it over. And so then for June, my WIP-GO, one of my WIP-GO pulls, the number 16, the numbers are 4 and 16, so this is the number 16, Running with the Wind, and it's, you know, it's a little hard to tell what's going on here, but I did, now part of it is under this hoop, so I'm not going to take it out, and I would just like this sort of gray color over here. I'm just doing that all over the place. So there's some down here that I did, and some up here that I did, and right now I'm working on this little corner. I did some of the some that shows up down here in the bottom of the, I mean, on this part of the ship, but right here I'm in the corner because there's a sail that goes up here, and so this is part of that stuff there. So it's a little hard to tell. And then there's going to be a lot of backstitching once this is all stitched. There's a lot of backstitching for all the rigging and stuff, yeah, for the
Those sails
for the
look
ship.
purple to me in this light. The gray. This gray here looks kind of purple to me.
Yeah. And so that's one of my WIP-GO pulls. And then for Crossstitch Camp, I'm doing this by the Sweetheart Tree. Oh, the Running with the Wind is, it's an old pattern from 1989 by John Oler for, oh, I have it right here. Tall Ships and Seascapes. So I'm doing this one here. There's a bunch of other things. There's the Constitution. There's a couple of seascapes. But I'm doing with Running with the Wind here, this big one. So yeah, there's a couple of pennants and a bunch of rigging and stuff like that. And so this is by the Sweetheart Tree, Itty Bitty Kitty and the Baby Robin. And, you know, I thought, oh, it's only 35 by 35. It should be pretty easy. And I thought, oh, yeah, there's some satin stitching somewhere. And I hadn't really read the instructions. And I was going to do a center start. And I started a stitch. And then I was looking more closely at the, I'm like, well, where is the satin stitching coming in? Because it's here in the, you know, in the instructions. And I'm like, yeah, the part that I started on in the center is the satin stitching part. So I had to take everything out and start over again. And then I had to, like, wrap my brain around how to do it, because in the little diagram that's in here is looking at it differently than the one I was starting with, you know, is oriented. And so the one I was starting with is kind of upside down from the sample that's in the in there. And so I had to in my brain turn it around and, you know, and then figure out, how do I do that? You know, it was very complicated. But you can't tell much here, but there's two different shades of green. So I did the darker shade is this in the very middle. And then this lighter green is down here. And so there's a few more leaves like that. And then this lighter green is, I think, is used also for the word spring at the very top up here. I think, and that is 1/1. Ooh, 1/1, and so is this little robin, is 1/1. So there's actually a lot of detail. There's a lot of backstitching, and there's a lot of those, you know, those little 1/1 sections and things like that. So it's very challenging, but it's, you know, something with a burn in it for cross stitch camp. But so it's actually, you know, very small. There's even actually beads in this, but I don't know if I'm going to do beads or maybe colonial knots or something instead or whatever. But yeah, so that's my cross stitch camp project that is off to a tiny start. But I've only worked one day on it, so I have the rest of the month to work. And then the other thing we did when I mentioned a couple last week, or I guess last week, we went to Joann's because E wanted some buttons for her berries, and so I thought, oh, I don't need that. I'm just gonna get some fabric and all that. And then I made the mistake of meeting Eve in the button aisle, and so I had bought these buttons that they're shank buttons, but I thought, well, gosh, they would look good as needle minders. So there's a ladybug and a llama, and I actually did just, because the shanks, I was able to put the magnets on there that are sort of even with the shanks, so the shanks don't really matter, and you can still use them as needle minders. So I made a llama and a ladybug, and then also we had
paper. Don't mind me. I'm just looking through all my bags for something. Can't find it.
We had these lemon charms that were used for the lemon bag we had last time. So I made a couple of needle minders out of these lemons. And then I also found these little gnome buttons. There's I think 2 red ones and a green one that were on this little card that I made. So I made these in the needle minders also. And then I have a little basket full of these little sand dollars. So I made a couple of these, and I still have some more. I had to order some more magnets from Amazon, I think, so that I have enough of them to make a bunch of these. But they're nice little sand dollars, and I guess they're real. They seem real anyway, because on the back side, because on the front side, they have the little sand dollar little flowery thing on them, and on the back side they have holes in them, like real sand dollars do. I don't know. So anyway, they looked real. They're not real. I don't know, but I made little sand dollars. And then yesterday, day before, we went to Joann's. I bought some more of these. I wasn't sure if we had any of these little elephant, these little kind of steampunk elephants. I guess they have little gears, on their bodies, whatever. So I got some more of those just because they were there. So I think that's everything for me.
Okay. Well, I have, as you remember, for me, I started the band of the second half of Hannah's sweater last week on camera. And I only got to about here until a couple nights ago, and I stayed up all night watching Manifest, the new season of Manifest, and stitched most of this. And then again last night I stayed up way too late and did a little bit more. And just now, my iPad's dead, and that's where my row counts are. So I just added, where's that piece of paper? I just added 20 more rows on here, and I want to stop because I might be close to being done, and my iPad is charging in the other room. So I'm going to have to add those rows on after the fact and see where I am. So that might be ready to pick up stitches along the edge and make that other half. So if you weren't here last week, I'll show you the finished half of the sweater I'm making for Hannah. I probably will not have it done before she leaves for her camp. But here's the front half, or one half, whether it's front or back, I don't know. But so I'm working on this second band right now. That's what this is right here. So I might be close to done, and then I can pick up. And I have exactly a week. I don't know if I would want to wash and block it before I give it to her. So, I mean, it's gonna. I have to knit the whole half and then sew it all together. Sew it together here at the shoulders and then down the sides. So I probably will not get it done this week because I have to work. But shortly after she goes, I know. Shortly after she leaves, I'll probably just mail it to her. So she'll be happy to get it. So that's that. That's where I am on that one project. I looked at my WIP-GO list, and one of the calls is for that crochet sweater that I made Hannah to, and my assignment that I made myself is to write it all out again and finalize it and start on a new one in different colors. And I found the paper. Could I find it this morning? No, because last week I packed up all my stuff.
To clean, put it away.
Yeah, I really So so I couldn't find it in my rush to get out the door this morning, but I know I have it somewhere, and where I wrote my notes in it, and so I'm going to take a look at that this month and try to get it written down, and maybe we can even put it up on the Etsy site. Here's a picture of the one I made Hannah. She loves it. It's very cool, and she wears it a lot. It's just a tank.
The dog. Her little beard is tickling my leg.
That's funny.
I think it's her beard. She's right there.
Yeah.
And I can feel hair.
I could feel the table shaking a minute ago. I wonder if she was like scratching or something. Yeah, so that's one of my pulls, and the other is what I labeled. Well, the pattern is called One Row Scarf. And I had made this. I made this for a friend of mine, and then I never sent it. And I realized that the hat was kind of too small for a human. But she never knew that I was making it for her, my friend. So it didn't matter. I was just like, oh, she moved to a cold climate. I'm gonna make her this, and then I made the hat successfully, and then I never sent it because I started on the scarf, and because it's one row pattern. I got bored with it. But here's the scarf. Look at it. Isn't that pretty? This is just simple acrylic yarn. This is called One Row Scarf. So you do the same row on both sides.
That's why you got bored.
That's why I got bored. But then I showed it to Hannah, and I was like, do you want this? If you don't want it, I'm not going to finish it. But if you want it for your cold climate and your options to wear in the winter.
Is it blue in the middle?
It's a variegated yarn. Here, I'll show you.
Oh, well, I was gonna say it has one different blue in the middle right here.
No, it's just the variegation.
Yeah, because it doesn't show up anywhere else.
Right,
Well,
but it probably
that
will.
one color of blue. See?
It probably will later. Which one? This one right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably about to show up.
Yeah.
I
see.
Because this is the current. See, I'm almost done with the ball.
Yeah.
And then I have this one. So when I finished with this, I'll send it to her. By then it'll be cold. Oh wait, no, I have two. What? Oh no! I have even more.
Is that for making your hat? Maybe the one.
This is the leftover from the hat. So I'll use this one next. But anyway, I've got a lot of yarn here. Whatever. You're supposed to make scarves 5 feet long, so as tall as me.
How could I have this many threads here in this bag and not have the ones I need?
So anyway, this is the One Row Scarf. It's just a free pattern online. If you Google One Row Scarf, you'll get it. I can't remember the pattern. I have to look it up again. And then it had a corresponding hat that you made with it, which I decided to make the hat first. I was wise because I bought this, X amount of yarn, and I figured I would make the hat first so that I wouldn't run out of yarn, and then just make the scarf as long as I had yarn for. So anyway, Hannah, at first she was like, no. And then she put on the hat and she's like, oh, actually, yeah, I'll take it. So I was like, okay, then I'll finish the scarf someday. So that is one of my pulls for this month. So maybe I'll find the pattern and actually print it out and put it in here. Maybe it's in I don't think it's in my Knit Companion, but. And then the other thing, not on any list, but I finally determined with Jordan that this is the length she wants the body of her sweater.
Did you have to take rows out?
No, I didn't.
Good.
At first she was like, oh, maybe a little shorter, and then she's like, no, it's fine. So we stopped here. So this is the body of the sweater. I put it on 2 circulars so that I could put it on the Hanneken.
Well, it's got that ribbing at the bottom, so if she wants to hike it up
Yep,
just a tiny
yep,
bit,
yep.
she can.
Yep, absolutely.
But then if she has to go somewhere where she needs to be a little more covered up, all
Right.
she has to do is tug it down.
Yeah. And so I have this much left, and this is the yarn with which I will join the sleeves eventually and go up the neck. So that ball has to stay there. So I determined from her, we had a little online discussion about what kind of sleeve she wants and the length. And I'll show you from my book, The Sweater Workshop. We can design whatever sweater anybody wants. And so I have ideas already for my next sweater that I want to make.
Because you don't have enough projects going.
Well, I'm always thinking. Right?
Me too.
So this is the sleeve page. The black one at the top is what's called a fitted sleeve. And then the white one here is semi-fitted. And this is fitted, semi-fitted, full. And then over here is fuller, fullest, and even fuller, fullest. And so the one I made for Hannah was the fuller. And then Jordan said she wanted either fullest or even fuller, fullest, or whatever this is called. And I said, as your de facto knitting mother, I'm going to choose this one for you. So I'm making her the fullest sleeve. And she wants them, she determined 19 inches in length. So I have my marching orders now. And so my goal is to have this obviously done by the end of the summer so she can have it for her fall school year. And so here's my gauge page that is in this book, and it helps you make your gauge, which I'm used to using the gauge from Hannah's sweater and the needles that I use there. And you determine the inches, you determine everything off of that gauge. So I have 6 stitches per inch on the size 5 needles. So that determines all the percentages and everything else for the rest of the sweater. So the cuff ribbing is 20% of the key numbers. The key number, what they call, so if you want, so you figure out your gauge and then you figure out the measurement of your sweater. For this, in this instance, it's a 39-inch side to side measurement. So you double that, and that's your total inches, and you multiply that by actually it's 39 inches around, I'm sorry, 39 inches circumference of the sweater, and you multiply 39 times 6, and the key number of stitches is 234. So that's how many you want in your body. And then the bottom ribbing is you take off 10% of those stitches. So for the ribbing, you only cast on 212, and then when you're done with the ribbing, you increase to that key measurement. So that key measurement of 234 stitches is what you use to determine the percentages of everything else. So, and of course you can adjust it if you don't want your cuff to be so tight or whatever. But this says that the cuff ribbing on the sleeve would be only 20% of that 234. So that equals 48 stitches. So for the sleeve, I'm going to cast on 48 stitches and then increase to a total of 84 by the time you get to the top. However, when you do the fuller sleeves, you make it really big here, and then it decreases up so that the upper arm is not so voluminous, so you don't get all the extra fabric here. You increase for the fuller sleeve, and then you gradually decrease as you go up the arm to a normal arm width up here. So that makes it full at the bottom, but not bulky and yucky under the sleeve, under the arm. And then once you build the sleeve, you join the whole entire thing, and then do the raglan decreases as you go up. And she wants a scoop neck, which I've never done, so I'll have to figure out how to do that. But that's my after Hannah leaves summer project, is the sleeves of this sweater. So that's gonna be starting. So that is all for me in terms of my projects. I have some stories. The first story is a yarn story, so I'll tell you that one. Hannah comes home. So remember I sent her the mohair. right? And she wanted to make that cute, like, kind of loose stitch, lacy top. And she went gangbusters and made the whole entire body. And then she sent me a picture of it, and she's like, I think this is too big. Will it like block out, or like, will it get better? Or I'm like, it's only going to grow when you block it. And she's like, maybe I should have made a small, and she wasn't sure. And so she went ahead and started on the sleeve. And then, but she only had probably this much of the sleeve done. And the sleeve is just knitted flat. So then you set it in and then sew the seam. And so she brought it home, and she said, will you look at it with me? And where she started it, she has a very loose knit stitch anyway. She just is very relaxed when she knits. But at the bottom, some of the stitches were giant. Like, she just wasn't, and then it got kind of more uniform at the top. And then at the top where you separate, to do the front and back separately at the sleeve area, she was doing that, one row knit, one more purl, and that part was actually much smaller. So her gauge was all kind of messed up. And she was like, what do you think I should do? Should I just, like, should I frog it? And, this is expensive yarn. It's mohair. And I was like, yeah, let's just frog it. I'll help you. And because taking out mohair has kind of notoriously difficult. And she'd heard that if you freeze it, it's easier to take apart. But I was like, I bet it'll be fine. And I was able to, and she's like, untying knots is your favorite thing, right? And I was like, actually, kind of, it is. So I was able to gently untie the cast off edges and the seams at the shoulders and stuff. And she wound up with, and so we undid the whole sweater and wrapped it. It wrapped it up in balls like this. So I was, but it worked. And I only had to cut so it's a silk thread with the mohair. You can see the halo on it even from here. With the mohair kind of twisted into the knit. So I only had to cut the little mohair hairs probably twice, like where they were just so entwined. So it unwound itself very well. And so she has several smaller balls now. But she went ahead, look at her. Look at this girl. Oof. She went ahead and cast it on while I was unraveling. And she cast it on a new sweater. Shows what we did was she did the same size in the pattern, but one needle size like smaller from a 10.5 to a 10, which is not that much smaller. And then she's being more cognizant of her gauge. And you can even see, like, I mean, it looks small, right? But when you really pull it along the cord, it's going to be a nice size. So it looks very purple on the screen, but it's gray. So this will be a more appropriate size for her, because the small size, I'm like, that's not gonna work. If your gauge is on target, the small is gonna be too small. So she went ahead and stayed on the. Now I haven't measured the gauge on here. I measured the gauge on the original, and it was like crazy big. And so I haven't actually measured this gauge for her, but I think she's right on the money. I think it'll be fine. And because it's big needles and tiny, you've got that real nice loose look to it. But so she's like, take it. She told me to bring it with me and talk about it, because she's like, then I won't be tempted to knit instead of practicing. She's home practicing right now. But she did all this since like yesterday. She's very fast. And she says she enjoys knitting first thing in the morning with her coffee, and she says it warms up her hands, and then so then when she goes to play, her hands are already nice and warmed up. So nice. Yeah, so that's fun. I like to get up early and knit. If I don't stay up all night and knit, I can do it. So that's one of my stories. So I have never. So I told you last week that we got our fridge, right?
Yeah.
And it's so wonderful. It's got two kinds of ice. It's got square ice and widow ice. And
I was reading some blurb about like Americans' obsession with ice or something like that.
yeah, because it's great. Anyway, so
The pebble ice.
So it's a Samsung fridge, like our oven, the stove is a Samsung, and so it has Wi-Fi, and it doesn't have like a screen in it or anything like that. But the fridge has Wi-Fi and the stove has Wi-Fi. So we got the stove probably a year ago, 2 years ago, Thanksgiving sometime, just before Thanksgiving. Not this past one, but yeah, so it's been a year and a half, I guess, and I hooked it up to my phone, to an app on my phone, and it tells you to name the appliance. And so, and it's a range, technically, so I named it Ranger Rick. Of course. So when it comes time to name the fridge, I'm like, well, all right, I gotta name the fridge. And Mark goes, what, Freddy Fridge? I was like, all right, that's it, Freddy Fridge. So Freddy Fridge will send me a text if someone leaves the door open. And it'll say, please close the door. So it says, Freddy Fridge. It's something message from Freddy Fridge or something.
If we had one of those, Beth would be getting messages. Bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, because like when we're putting groceries away, I usually leave the door open and while I'm doing stuff. And if I take too long, it'll go bing.
Yeah, it has an audible sound.
Yeah, ours bings as well. Yeah. But it's really nice because it has inside. It's got a little what do you call it? Control panel, where you can set the exact temperature of the fridge and the exact temperature of the freezer. And it's like, oh, this is what ice cream is supposed to be like. You know, it's funny because a little bit, you know how it is when you get new toys, right? You're like, do I really deserve this? Do I really need it? Should I be getting a brand new fridge? I mean, you know, you're like, I'm going to have a whole nice brand new kitchen. I don't want this old ugly fridge. But is that spoiled rotten of me, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to be a good steward of your money and you want to be wise and not get into debt for no reason. But I had, so then you try to justify things, right? But, I had been noticing that the fridge side of the door had started to, like, it would grind when you'd open and shut it, like it was hanging on the, like it was like it was probably overloaded. And, but, so I'm like, so probably this is not long for this world, right? And so we were like, well, let's go ahead and get a fridge. And let's get it now so that it's in place so that when they build the cabinets, they're sure it's going to, it's going to fit, right? And so that we had the measurement. We didn't have the fridge when they measured for the cabinets, but we had the measurements. So they took that into account. But, so the day that they got the fridge. Did I talk about our all of a sudden, they came early last week?
No, because they hadn't come yet. I think they were going to come that day. But
did we film on Friday?
We filmed on Friday. That's right. Well, that's a whole story. So they were supposed to come between 12:30 and 2:30. Now, this was Costco. And I will say, I love Costco delivery, appliance delivery. It was the best experience I've ever had. First of all, it was free with the purchase of the item, which is amazing. And they came, they installed it, including the water line, and they hauled away our old one. And anyway, we had a window, 12:30 to 2:30, and we were in the middle of building an entertainment center, because Mark wanted a new entertainment center. So we were building it ourselves, which was a horrible ordeal. And we had gotten up really early, and we had started early, and we were like, we had plenty of time, and we had gone through the fridge the night before, and we had, like, purged, and so we had, the fridge was pretty bare bones, and we'd thrown out all the old stuff we didn't want, just, critical items, whatever, and then whatever was in the freezer, we also went through that. But we didn't take it out the night before, right? And so we were early. We were making anything out of the fridge. Yeah. And my son has a little fridge in his room. So we had kind of planned we'll use that for some of the critical refrigerator stuff. So at about 9:45 or so, I was thinking probably around 11 we're going to want to move everything, or hopefully they'll call us when they're on. But then it's like, but if they don't come till 2, because the window was 12:30 to 2:30, it'll be there a long time. Maybe they'll call us when they're half an hour out or something like that. And I get a message at about 10 o'clock or a little before 10 that said, your Costco delivery will be there at 10:40. And I was like, oh crap, Mark, we better get ready. So I get up to get ready to start moving the stuff or whatever, and I get a phone call. And they're like, oh, we had some cancellations. Is it okay if we come in 5 or 10 minutes? And I was like, okay. So Mark and Eli run to the backyard because we wanted them to come around the back through our French doors, so we didn't have to take the front door off the hinges, which is what I think they did with the last fridge. So he cleared the path, and opened the gate and all that. And so I am just shoving stuff into our coolers that we had there, and trying to praying, Lord, please let it fit. And then and I'm hauling stuff into I'm like, okay, eggs, butter.
What's important?
Yeah, what's cheese, cream cheese, what is gonna not do well. And then I put a lot of the condiments on the countertop. I'm like, they don't fit, but people take them to picnics and they're okay for a little while, and the house is kind of cool, so I just put them there. And then so then here they come. I'm like, ah. So, and then of course, because one of the other things I had wanted to do the night before and didn't do and thought about doing, I thought, well, when we're getting ready for them to come, we'll pull it out.
Pull it out and sweep
clean.
Yeah.
So guess what I didn't get to do? And I'm like, these boys have probably seen horrible, horrible kitchens. So maybe mine's not so horrible. But then, of course, they had to go back there and disconnect they had to turn off the water, but because it was so early, I didn't even snap that I had wash going.
Oh,
so
no.
I don't know. It seemed okay. I think it was already in the rinse cycle, so I don't know. I mean, the clothes are all right, but it was just like my, my, as I call it, my play clothes. But so they'd turn off the water and and drain out the the pipe there. So there's water all over the floor and the dirt, and I'm like, can I just clean for a second? And I'm like, sure. So they let me back there, and we were able to clean up a little. And I thought,
buy cat toys.
We did. We found broken glass from dishes past many, many moons ago. I was like, oh, there's still glass under here. But I realized too, we'll get to really thoroughly clean.
Well, I think
when they pull the kitchen out, because they're going to pull everything out again.
Yeah, I think I was at your house when I
when I
just got out of hospital, I guess.
Yeah. Or you were staying at my house. I think you stayed over to watch the animals or something. But because you said you left me with rotten strawberries. My strawberries went bad. That's how we knew that the fridge was dying. But yeah, so, but during this time when I was cleaning out the fridge, the door, as I went to shut it, was catching. Oh. So the whole door was starting to fail. And I'm like, oh, look at that. I'm justified. I'm justified in getting a new fridge. And actually, Rachel had asked me if she could have the old one, because I was like, it's still working. Mm-hmm. But it was a good thing so she measured her and it wouldn't fit. It was too big. And it's really a good thing because that door is failing. Yeah. So she would have had a fridge and the door would have failed, and then she would have been up a creek. So things work out. But okay, entertainment center story. So Mark decided, and like I told you last week, I'm not going to argue. He's like, the kitchen's going to make a clean spot, right? And we have to paint anyway. So he's like, let's start looking at the living room like grown-ups, because we have barely been bare bones, minimum. We have done some decorating, but we've been using our money for other things. that are important. And so, but he was like, let's, we're going to have this
You
new
mean
kitchen.
like the New England Conservatory of Music?
Yeah. So he's like, let's, yeah.
When you have kids, you put yourself on the back burner.
That's right. So he's like, let's, just do little things to kind of tie in the, and tie in the living room to what we're designing in the kitchen. So, because it's all one giant room and you see it all at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that he's been wanting is a new entertainment center. So he found one. But before, when it was on its way, when we bought it, it was a little bit bigger than what we had been using, which was just an old coffee table. And so it was a little bit bigger. Well, so the problem there was with the entertainment center, we have a really nice curio cabinet that we like, and then my little, it's a very small little work desk. And he's like, I think it'd be better if you put your work desk in our bedroom.
Oops, sorry,
but in our bedroom was a treadmill, which we like, but we have not been using. And, you decide priorities. So when we had moved that treadmill in, it used to be in Hannah's room when she first went away to college. And then when I got my dream box and we put that in Hannah's room, we had to move the treadmill. So we put it in our room and we used it, But then all of a sudden we weren't using it anymore. Because that's how that's the life of treadmills. And so he wanted to move it out of our bedroom. And really the only place for it is in the garage right now. So I'm like, okay, well, wait for me. And because I remember when we took it apart in Hannah's room and brought it, had to drag it through the house. And he'd been real sick, remember? And I was like, just wait for me, and I remember how to take it apart, and maybe we can ask Robert or something to come over and help us move it. It's so heavy. So I don't know, I was at work. I don't know where I was. And he was like, I think it was that last show I did. He's like, I kind of made a mess for us. Because he tried to muscle that thing out of our bedroom by himself. And I'm like, why did you do that? So then he wound up having to take it apart. And he said the cat was under there trying to get himself killed the whole time. So he took it apart and, so then we had to move that but he nearly killed himself. But anyway, we got it out. He got it out. And then we moved it into the garage. And then we moved my desk into the bedroom, and then we moved, so it was just like one of those crazy
puzzles.
Puzzles. Because we have, kind of a smaller house and too much furniture is basically the reason. But so now I'm ensconced happily, but we then also had to move the router because so anyway, my phone is a voice over IP phone, so I had to have it hardwired into the router, so we had to move it closer and I had to get a cord, blah 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 blah. But hopefully one day soon life will be back to normal. But that's been insane.
So when Beth and I went to Joann's,
no barking,
I got these beads, which are very delicate, right? And I was only going to need 3. And
those ones you were talking about?
Yeah.
I bought 3 different types of beads, and I only showed you 2 here because the others are just round pink beads. But I thought I'd look at the charms. These were on sale for $3.99 for this brand, and why can't I say it? One bead string thing. And I was like, okay, and I looked over at the charms, and they had a sign there that said $3.99 too. And I saw some that I thought would look really nice with this, right? So then when I go up to the front, I knew everything that I had was on sale. And so she said, oh, these aren't on sale. And I was like, there was a sign there. And she said, I don't know why it's not working, but they're not on sale. And I went and took a picture of it and brought it back. And I said, it says here they're on sale. Now, normally, when I read a sale thing, I read it to see if I'm getting what I think I'm getting, right? Oh, the first time that she told me that it wasn't on sale, I said, well, just use the 40% off thing. And she told me, okay, now they're 8 something. I went, excuse me, they're how much? And I said, how much are they, regularly? And she said $12.99 or something like that. And so after that is when I went and took a picture of the sale thing, and she had a manager come up to tell me why this wasn't on sale. I said, this sign is there by those charms. And she said, yeah, but if you blow up that thing in little itty bitty teeny tiny type, it said regularly priced X to $10.99. And I was like, okay, then I don't want them, because I am not going to pay that much money for 6 little charms.
Yeah, these were,
they weren't even that big.
Yeah, I kind of suspected that there was some kind of problem with the sale, but when Eve, I was watching, I was already done, so I was watching Eve, and I saw her walk back. I thought, uh-oh, because mine rang up fine.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, maybe the clerk was ringing up wrong or something,
And I really hate it when signage is confusing, which is why I normally really scan what I'm reading there to make sure I'm picking up the right one. But that's usually like in the grocery store where you there's only one on this shelf, but down there, did somebody just stick that on the shelf, or is it the right thing? Did it slide over?
Mm-hmm.
And so I read the SKUGA numbers and stuff to make sure I'm getting, like say with cereal,
mm-hmm.
when you're supposed to get the box this big for the sale, but the one in front of the sale thing is, the family size box.
Right.
And so normally I'm very careful about reading that, but
But you need a whole new pair of glasses to read that.
yeah, well, because it's very thin type and it's very small. And there it was in front of all the charms.
Mm. I hate that.
Yeah, so, and then, the same day, was it the same day? Maybe it was the next day. Beth and I went through Wendy's drive-thru. And I ordered something for Beth and I, for Robert and I. But Beth is in the passenger seat, so she's further from the speaker. So I have to ask her what she wants, and then I tell the lady on the speaker. And Beth wanted a sandwich, not a combo, and a drink. And I told her that.
Just dropped a needle.
And when she repeated it back to me, I was like, no, that's not right. I said, not a combo, just the sandwich and the drink. And then I asked her to read, and then she repeated it, and it sounded like she got it right. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we get up to the front, we pay, we both pay, and they gave us our sodas first, but then they gave us our food. And I looked in the bag, and I was like, there's a large thing of French fries in here. And
can you
understand
the words that are coming out of my mouth?
She didn't order a combo. And we looked at the receipt, and it had a combo on there.
Ay.
And we said, this isn't right. That's not what she ordered. She just wanted the sandwich and the drink. And he said, did you want a refund on that? And we went, yeah, because she didn't order a combo, right?
And I asked them if they wanted. We asked them if they wanted the fries back because, I didn't order them.
right?
But, you know.
And she didn't want to pay for them because she didn't order them, right? So then the guy that was at the window was when we were trying to order, especially on my order, that woman was so rude and just like wanting to just finish taking the order so that we just, you know, stop bothering her.
Yeah, when we first stopped, and you know, she said, you know, she asked, you know, can I take your order? And you started to ask her something, and right away she said, you know, well, just order when you're ready. Like she didn't want, like we were.
She didn't want to stand there and listen to you.
Yeah, something. You know, she didn't want to wait. You know,
they have those biggie meals, and I wasn't that hungry, so I wanted a smaller thing. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know if I wanted the smaller one or the slightly bigger one, right? I still didn't understand what the difference was because she was just so rude, and so then, you know...
Well, and you would think there were 40,000 people waiting in line to be served or something.
Mm-hmm. It was like 2:30 in the afternoon.
Nobody there.
And so when the very nice guy at the window, he wanted somebody to come and fix it so he could give us the money back or, you know, charge that back and ring it up again or whatever. And the woman that we had been speaking with to order it came up, and she's all annoyed at us, right? And then the manager
pointing out her mistake.
Yeah, the manager comes up, and she goes, "It's just 54 cents. Just give her 54 cents." And it was like, excuse me, you know, it isn't the fact that it's just 54 cents. The fact is that it's her 54 cents, not yours.
And I can't believe that anyway.
Well, I think it's probably more, but you know,
the difference between a combo and just a sandwich is not 54 cents; it's dollars.
A combo and the
combo and the drink.
And the drink.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what the difference is. The matter is that that's not what she ordered, and she shouldn't have been charged for it. And she didn't want to take it back off of her card. She wanted to just give her the coin. And he's like, "Is that going to be okay with you?" And we, you know, they were so rude. Both of the no wonder that girl was so horrible. The manager was bad too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
It was just like, stop bothering me. Now, I'm not saying that manager wasn't busy. I'm sure she was busy. I worked fast food as a manager. There's always something you need to be doing. But one of them isn't yelling.
Maybe actually she was annoyed, not at you, but annoyed at that girl.
I don't know.
She did not say one word to us. She didn't say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Here, we'll take care of it. You know, let's get you. Just, is the coin okay?" And you know, nothing. She was so annoyed to have to come and deal with it.
The girl that took the order was back there,
and she was smirking.
It just like, you know,
when the manager just got mad at us and just handed us. She's over there going. It's like,
yeah, and this poor young man that was, you know, taking the money and giving us food. You know, he was as nice as he could be, but you know, what could he do? He was at the mercy of these two horrible women.
And then the chicken in my sandwich, I got a chicken BLT, you know, little chicken BLT. I swear that thing was shoe leather. I could barely chew it.
Oh no!
It was like chewing jerky.
It's like when I was in Little Rock, in the
Wendy's chicken jerky sandwich. I found the title of our video. Eve and her chicken jerky sandwich.
Well, when in our old offices at Family Life, we were like in this, you know, not far from several fast food places, and so I would go to this Wendy's one time. I mean, every once in a while, And every time I went there, I would tell myself, I'm never coming back here. I'm never coming back here. And then I would, because it was, handy.
Well, Beth said, we're never coming back here. I don't care. And I'm like, yeah, we will. Just like we eventually went back to the Wendy's that gave us
the
dirty ice.
Because they have Frosties. Let's be real.
Well, because the other Wendy's are too hard to get to.
Yeah, the one I used to go to by my office. Like one time, I had gone inside, and I had ordered, I don't know, some sandwich or whatever, and I guess the when they were making it, had put when they were wrapping it in the foil or whatever, had put the foil down on, I guess, a greasy spot or something, because then it dripped, and the grease was kind of like, I guess body temperature. It wasn't really hot. And it wasn't like cold water or whatever. But I'd noticed at one point that it had dripped onto my pant leg.
You didn't notice?
Yeah, and I didn't notice it because it was, normal temperature. But it was like, there's a big old greasy spot on my pants, on my work pants. And then another time I was inside, and this girl was sweeping, I guess, in the, the dining area. And it was very empty because it was like off lunch hour, late, I guess. And the manager came out because they didn't have the right lettuce for their sandwiches. Because I guess for the sandwiches they used leaf lettuce, and in those days they had a salad bar, and so in the salad bar they had chopped up lettuce or something like that. And so he went on this whole discussion with her about, why didn't you tell the manager we were out of lettuce? I told so and so, but you didn't tell me. Blah, 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 blah. And they were back and forth, and I'm like, there are customers in here. And here you are arguing in front of the customers about your lettuce. And I'm like, I know all about what kind of lettuce you need because you're having this argument in front of me. And then another time, usually I'd go through the drive-thru and I would get a salad or something. And the girl in the drive-thru window would stick my order out the window like this. I'm still back here
all of them would do that.
I was back at the...
I guess to try to tell you that we're fast, we have your order fast. All it was rude.
Get up here and get your food.
Yeah.
But I would still be placed my order, and I was at the microphone, and then I was, getting my...
What would have really been funny is if you just drove through and grabbed it as you drove by.
Except she needed her drink.
I know, but that would have been worth losing the drink.
I was back there. I was, be back there getting my wallet out or something, and here she is sticking her arm out the window already. Okay, I'm like, you better not drop my food, Well, but then the real kicker was one time, and this Wendy's was on a very busy street, and you had to turn down and come downhill to the thing, the speaker, and you go up to the window, and then the little drive out again, you have to go uphill and on this busy street again. And, it was hard to turn left because it was so busy and all this stuff. And, but I had to turn left to get back to my office. But one time I went through the drive-thru and I had ordered a Diet Coke with whatever, and I got up to the window and got the drink, and I was in the habit of testing my drink before I went up that horrible, steep exit. And sure enough, it was not a Diet Coke. It was a regular Coke. So I went up this thing and went back around and went inside. And I walked up and I said, this is not a Diet Coke. And the girl behind the counter, she goes, you can't drink regular Coke? I'm like, that's not what I ordered. A, it's none of your business, and B, that's not what I ordered. But it turned out that they had gotten their because they refilled it. They gave me a new one, and I thought, this is not a Diet Coke either. And they had gotten their lines crossed or something, and they're like, well, it'll take a long time for us to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and I guess the only other diet kind of drink they had was tea, and I'm like, I don't want that. And I was like, just give my money back or something. I was like, I'm never gonna be back to this Wendy's again.
And then you went back.
And I always did.
Well, that's like the Dairy Queen that I used to go by on the way home from work. I would get Robert and I dinner. That was back when those $5 lunch boxes were
You're actually $5.
only offered. They were $5, and they were only offered up until 4:00, and that would just work out with when I would be driving by. And Robert likes a few more condiments now than he did then, but this is high school, but he does not like stuff on the sandwich, or back then it was even more so. And so I would always order it plain for him. Inevitably, it would have something on it, and he didn't want it because it wasn't what he ordered.
Yeah.
And it wasn't very far from our house. It was very close. But by the time I would go up there and get a different sandwich and come back, my food would be cold, right? And I'd done that a couple of times, but this particular time I was so tired. I had just wanted to, we always upgraded to the Blizzard, I had just wanted to eat my meal and eat my ice cream and relax, right? But they made the sandwich wrong again. And yeah, he was being a big baby about not wanting to eat it with that on it, but that's not the way he liked it, and I paid for what I ordered,
Yeah, so like their whole job is to do the order that you order.
So I went. Oh, and that particular time when I went up to pick up the meal, I asked the lady at the window, "Are you sure the burger in here is plain?" But she was talking to one of her coworkers and never looked at me. And so she didn't acknowledge me. So I was even more mad because I had asked, And so I pull up to the window. I have the bag in my hand of the incorrect food. I pulled up to the speaker and I said, "You guys made my order wrong again." And I was like, every time I come through and I order it plain, and you guys get it wrong. And it's infuriating, right? And I kind of let the person on the speaker have it, because if it's not the person on the grill, it's the person taking the order, not properly communicating to the grill people. And at this point, I didn't care. Normally, if I know the person at the window got it correctly and it's somebody back there who did something, I try not to yell at people who's not their fault. But like I said, I was really tired. So I get up to the window to get the correct sandwich. And the manager is sitting there. And he goes, "I don't like you yelling at my staff." And I was like, "I don't like you giving me the wrong sandwich so that I have to come back here and get the correct sandwich so that I can go back and eat my cold sandwich. So I don't like that either." So if you don't want me yelling at your staff, how about you have them make the order correctly? I mean, I'm not going to be one of those people that starts throwing things at people and jumping over the counter and all those things that I've seen.
Well, if you ever do, let me know so I can film it.
People shooting people over a packet of ketchup or something. We've had, in the very recent past, 3, 4 people employed by fast food restaurants killed by customers because something was wrong with their order or they did some, and I'm like,
well, my favorite one was,
I believe you should get what you paid for, but good night.
I'll say one of my favorite ones was I saw a video some time ago, quite a while ago, where this guy he'd gone to Buffalo Wild Wings or something, and he'd gotten the food. I don't remember if he got it through drive-thru or if he went inside, but he had gone home with this order, and then he came back, and he said he didn't like it. I don't know what was wrong with it, but he wanted his money back, and they said, "Well, I can't do that because you walked out of here with it. we don't have any. We're not allowed to take the food back and refund you, whatever. And so he was just irate, and the guy, the person who filmed it, I guess, was another customer, because he was like, because the guy was escalating, and he, was really mad, and they were telling him, the clerk was telling him, and the manager was telling him, I'm sorry, we can't give you a refund for food that you've taken out of here, and because there's no way they can prove that he didn't eat it or whatever, right? And so.
He didn't bring the food back?
I don't remember if he brought it back, but he had gone home with it, I guess. He had been gone, a few minutes. It's not like he, got like we were in the drive-thru and looked and said, this is not right. He had taken it home, and it was, he was bringing it back because he didn't like it or something, just like some weird thing. But so, their policy was that they couldn't refund him that way or whatever. But so then he went bananas, and he tore the place apart, knocked the registers down, broke the window, I don't know what, just going berserk in there. And the guy who was filming it, he and his wife or his girlfriend, whatever, they're cowering over there, what is this guy gonna do next? Because it's just so volatile and unpredictable.
People are, and the thing I don't understand about getting out of control like that, like I said, I was mad that day, and I did yell at the person at the speaker because I had asked them, so I didn't have to come back, and and I still got the wrong thing, right? But being violent to somebody, over the fact that the sandwich is wrong or whatever, it's not worth it. Well, because I don't want to go to jail over a stupid sandwich.
What was I going to say? Oh, so last night we got Chipotle, and Hannah's here, and I'm like, oh, let's get some guac. So I got guac and chips, a medium, or regular size, whatever. And so we go to get the meal, and first of all, we went to pick up, and they're like, your meal's ready, just pick it up at the shelf. And it wasn't there, and I was watching them make it. And I didn't snap, because I wasn't, close by, to be, they didn't put chips in the bag. But they didn't put chips in the bag. So we get home, and we have the guac, but no chips. And I was like, so I got a little message. Oh, rate your order. I wasn't gonna go back for chips. I'm like, but I was mad because I'd paid for them, right? Now, mostly what I paid for, obviously, was the guacamole, which we got. So, but I was kind of miffed about it. So when
my needle minder stole my scissors.
when I got my little message about rate your meal, I was like, all right, I'm gonna rate my meal on the app. And so I gave it 2 stars. That was probably a little low for just missing chips because the food was good. And the food
but it wasn't on the shelf when they told you it was.
Too, yeah. So it said missing items, and I wrote on there, I ordered chips and guac. I got the guac with no chips.
Was that DoorDash or something?
No. It was just Chipotle's app. And so, and I wrote, otherwise the food was fine, and I submitted it. And it's like, thanks for your feedback. But it has a little animation of a avocado, and he's kicking the dirt like that. He's all sad. I gave him 2 stars.
So I told Beth, I said, you better fill out a
little survey.
A survey, because that place was awful. Now, I got what I wanted, and I still want to fill out a survey because that girl was so rude when I was trying to order.
Yeah.
But, and I still may. You have a couple of days. Beth said, I didn't get the coupon because I'm never going back there. And I'm like, yes, you were.
Yeah, well, the coupon thing said, you get a coupon code, whatever, but you have to go back within 14 days, and you have to buy something in order to get something, the free survey thing from the survey.
Yeah, McDonald's, it's free. It's not buy one, get one free.
No, it's like, it ain't worth it to me because, we'll probably go to Wendy's again, but not within 14 days, I don't think, and I'm certainly not going to buy a premium sandwich, in order to get a free,
And they're like,
whatever.
Yeah,
It's
some
like,
of those things are like, you call and complain, and they're like, well, you want to come back right now? I'm like, no, so you can spit in my food while I'm on my way? No.
so I can complain again. That's like what my
next time you're here, just tell us blah blah blah. I'm like, no, so you can spit in my food while I'm on my way from the microphone to the window. No.
That's like my favorite fast food story is that $75 hamburger at the airport.
Yeah.
I came to visit Naomi for Thanksgiving or whatever it was, and so she took me to the airport, and I had a while before my flight left, so we decided to go ahead and get some overpriced hamburgers at Burger King in the airport, and so Naomi went to one register, and I went to this one, and so my meal was like $7.25 or something like that, and I saw this kid, this teenager. He goes to ring it up, and there's like the register where you enter the order, and then there's a little keypad for the credit card, and so he ran a credit card, and then he was supposed to punch in the number, right? So he starts off it was like $7.50 or something, 7.5, and he looks up, and then he goes to, and then he hits the decimal point, and then 50, and then he hit enter, and then he goes, oh no, and I'm like, and he goes, it rang up as I rang it up as 75.50 or whatever, and I'm like,
you better unring it.
Yeah, because I'm like, I had $75 to cover it in my checking account, but not much more.
That's not
and
the
it was,
point.
Yeah, well, and I'm like, and so I'm like, and I said, can't you just ring it up again, or, something? And he goes, I don't think so. Can I give you the refund in cash? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, can't you just like void it and ring it again or whatever? And so he didn't know how to do it. So this girl comes over, and she's like a manager or whatever, young girl. She comes over, and she goes, what's the problem? And he's like, so he explains it to her, and she's like, I don't know if she said she couldn't do it, we couldn't do it. I think she said, no, we can't do that. And I'm like, yes, you can. You can revoid the thing and ring it up again. No, we can't. And
you're seriously going to sell me a $75 hamburger?
And so
no one's ever made a mistake on that little machine ever before in the history
and
of
I'm like,
King?
you're not going to give me. I'm not going to take $60 in cash or whatever. And so finally, I guess Naomi was over there, and she saw there's an adult manager over there. She goes, I think you better go look over there, because I think there's a problem going on over there. And so he came over, and so this kid was explaining again what happened. And he's like, yeah, we can do that, but I can't remember how to do it. And so he had to get a hold of somebody on the phone.
Oh, Lord have
and
mercy.
I'm sitting there like,
it's a good thing you weren't late for your flight.
I know. I'm like, okay,
y'all people better not. I can't believe y'all are alone.
Yeah, I'm like, my flight is leaving soon. And so he's like trying to get a hold of this guy on the phone so that so he can figure out the procedure to, and finally they did. And so they go to and Naomi's like, you're not going to make her pay for that, are you? And the manager goes like, no, here, it's free.
See, I got your back. That's me, everyone's advocate.
My $75 hamburger. And the other one was the one with my broken debit card.
Oh yeah.
This kid was like laughing at me because my card was broke, because I had broken it in my pocket during the drive over when it was really cold at Christmas, I guess, and so I could still use it if I put my tongue in the right place, and because it hadn't broken through the magnet strip, but had broken below it, but this kid when I was coming here for the New Year's, he was like smirking at me because my credit card was broken. I'm like, you know.
Things happen.
Yeah.
I was going to say something when you told that second story. When I lived in Florida, we used to do. I used to do art shows, and all year round, even in the summer. And Jan and I drove south and did a art show in a park somewhere, and it was summer, and even though we had a little bit of shade from a tree, it was miserably hot. Now, I had ways that I would try to, mitigate some of that, but the whole time we're sitting there, we're talking, we're like, hey man, let's go to Burger King right after, and because we had seen one close by, and then we'll head back up. We were like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours away from where we live, and I said that sounds good. So after we had decided that, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get my burger this way, and and all that.
Have it your way.
Yeah,
At Burger King.
So, and this isn't the only time I didn't get it my way. The girl, it took her a couple of times, but she repeated it back to me correctly. Okay. So then I get the sandwich. Now, I don't like ketchup. Now, if I'm home and there's ketchup on the sandwich, I'm not going back. I'll just eat it. If there's onions on it, I'll just pull them off, right? But I'm sitting in the place, and it's wrong. And so I went up there, and I'm waiting at the counter. I have my fries and my Coke over there at the table, and I'm waiting at the counter. I'm waiting at the counter, and everybody just keeps walking right by me. Jen and I, whenever that would happen to us at a place, we'd say, I'm too fat to be invisible. So finally, somebody came, and I said, why did it take you guys so long to acknowledge my presence here? I've been waiting here, and my food is getting cold, and my fries. And I said, this was made wrong. And he tried to get me to just eat it anyway. And I'm like, no, I want the sandwich correctly. And now my fries are going to be ice cold because you've taken so long to acknowledge my presence here, and then it has to be made again and everything. And I swear this manager was 12 years old. And he was, I don't know, he just made the situation worse. Let's just say it. So I said, I'd like the number for your corporate office, please. Because I used to be a manager at McDonald's. And I know that when a customer comes and says, you made my order wrong, you don't try to talk them into eating it, eating that one.
Oh, you mean can't eat ketchup?
You just say, oh, I'm so sorry, and you make it correctly as quickly as possible. Mm-hmm. But he was just making me mad. And so I asked for the corporate number, and he goes, it's up there. I said, do I look like I have a pen and pencil with me? A pen and paper with me? I want you to get a piece of paper and a pencil and write it on a paper for me and hand it to me. Because Robert says that I'm horrible about complaining. And so when I got back into my hometown, I called. And I told him, the situation that had happened and everything. And I got I think 4 coupons for free Big Macs. I mean, free Whoppers. Different place. And another time that I went to I was going through drive-through at a Burger King, and I said, "Can you take off the ketchup and add mustard? A little bit of extra mustard would be good." And he goes, "We can't do that." I said, "Can't do what? Put on mustard?" And he goes, "We can't put extra mustard. We don't know what you mean by extra mustard. I'll just give you mustard packets and you can do it yourself." I'm like, "You can't just put 2 squirts of mustard instead of 1?" You know? And
this reminds me of that episode.
And he would not do it. He just
gosh.
gave me the burger and mustard packets.
Weird. That's like in that movie, The Big Sick. The guy's, Kumail Nanjiani is real upset. His girlfriend's sick and everything. And he goes to this drive-thru and he said he wanted a burger with 5 slices of cheese instead of just 1. And the guy's like, I can't do that. You want just 5 cheeseburgers? And he's like, "No, I want 1 burger with 5 slices of cheese." "What do you mean you can't do that?" And he's like, "Well, I can't do that." And he's like, "We're human beings. What do you mean you can't do that? Just put 5 slices of cheese on 1 burger." And he's freaking out. And he gets he drives up to the drive-thru and he knocks the trash can over and he's screaming and yelling. He's like, and the guy's like, "It's my first day." And he goes, "I'm just gonna ring you up for 5 cheeseburgers." And then all of a sudden he's like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so," and he's like picking up the trash. It's really funny. We're both human beings. It's very funny. But
Oh, golly.
I need to go. Ow,
Yes.
the dog is telling me it's time to go. Ow, with the nails. Ow, ow, ow. Oh, wait, there she is. She's come to say goodbye. She says, "It's time. You're talking too long. It's time for you to say goodbye." Okay, we'll say goodbye. Okay, little dog. Okay, little dog. All right, get down. Ouch. Oh, yeah, I gotta go. Got stuff to do. Gotta have dinner at Rachel's tonight.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
and in 1 week, Hannah leaves for her camp. So,
Yeah.
I got lots to do. So, thank you for joining us for another week of nonsense and stories and lots of crafty work. And we will see you back next week.
Yes.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.